lastly, oh, before I read Romans 8, which I've been dying to read because Leia reminded me, I just wanted to say that Mr. Gillespie and I are both wearing socks with what shouldn't be worn with socks. Okay, so he was wearing like chacos and I was wearing flats. It was hilarious. So I just thought it was so funny that we thought the same. I have to talk loud again. I thought it was so funny that we thought the same, even though we obviously weren't talking about wearing socks and sandals or socks and flats. What else? Okay, so I wrote here, Mr. Gillespie outside of Amicus and maybe Kevon, and that's an actual name. Kevon is an actual person. I'll talk about him later. Is someone who I have intellectually synced with for the first time in a long time. In the middle of me journaling that, I remembered how we somewhat thought the same thing, probably simultaneously, but I had a slight delay. Anyways, I have to read the Bible. And I said I'm back. I'm in the middle of work. On an errand with Monet. I saw Mr. Gillespie. Oh yeah, because I saw him, but then I was talking about how we're both wearing the same stuff. Basically, it was just our conversation. I said that he's #Coolio. Speaking of cool professors, I'm going to make a spreadsheet in this journal for what stuff I'm going to give for NLC people, because for one person, the list is getting there. Okay, so I have this list of NLC professors and faculty and staff that I want to give things to, and this is the just in case page because I don't know if I might like more people. So yeah, well, a lot has happened since my last p+log post. I discovered true commitment, because I don't think it's me discovering something new. I just think I myself found it for myself and what true commitment is. Tuesday, I explored the possible paradox of practical altruism in contrast to Ayn Rand's virtue of selfishness. Wednesday, which was yesterday, was a double whammy. I learned I don't have to be a dom force in group discussions, and that Amicus was really such a good guy. Today, which is Thursday, I learned that even as a female, there is a lot I do not know about my fellow women. So much learning that happened outside of the classroom, all I want to say. And then I wrote, wasn't that rich? Because I wrote it like this, look. Because there's this video of the way black preachers talk, and one of them was the guy going like, wasn't that rich? And I thought that was so funny, so that's what I think about when I wrote that. Anyways, I was summarizing my week so far from Monday all the way to Thursday, which was that day, and there was just so much learning. And all of that was outside of class. Very serendipitous. I will have to get into academic mode since there's a lot of content I have to go over as well as produce. Once again, it's crunch time and I need to make the most out of it before going back to Baylor. I've already said this, but I also need to make sure I gift accurate gifts to my people, because this will be the last time I see them as an Alamo student. Last thing, I'm gonna try Always Sunny just because, and Arrested Development because Gillespie says it's close to Seinfeld. And I watched both of them last night. I don't know. I emailed myself a quick assessment of how I feel about the shows. I hope Gillespie is right for his sake. the only way to know if he likes Seinfeld the way I do. And he does. From the way I watched Arrested Development, it does have this ironic sense the way Seinfeld does. It's just not so much in dialogue. It's more in the way the camera is positioned and the way that the story is revealed. Not necessarily because of the series of events or the dialogue, but more about how they show this series of events and how they display the dialogue. You know what I'm saying? So it's close. It's just a different type of irony. Okay, which I love. I love it. It's fun. It's different. Yeah, Mr. Lesby's a cool guy. I'm listening to a debate of selfishness. Yeah. I finished that and it wasn't that interesting at a certain point. It was interesting to hear the guy who's pro-selfish, but... Oh, one thing I wanted to say. When I was talking with There's So Much That I Don't Know About My Fellow Women, it was because I went to the vagina monologues, okay? And I've written notes, but I don't think those notes are really important right now. The point is I went to the vagina monologues, okay? And as a girl, there are a lot of things that I don't know or relate to, especially because I've just never experienced a lot of the things that they talk about. A lot of it has to do with sex, sexual pleasure even. It's just very much in that sex realm, except for when they were talking about the transgender boys or transgender females. I don't know how they politically say it. Anyway, so now this is the journal from March 23rd, which is Friday, and it was the anti-celebration of the 1 year anniversary, and that 1 year anniversary refers to Amicus. Oh, that's so funny. Anyways, but it's an anti-celebration because I'm supposed to get over him. I don't know if I will, though. It's just something that I've become comfortable with. But yeah, I said yes, I shouldn't even be celebrating, and I have not even remembered until just now. Anyways, I may not have been completely honest in this journal, although it might be apparent. Okay, and this is when I talk about very specific things, and I don't know if it was apparent in the way that I've been talking so far, but all I'm going to say is that this experience has to do with the people that I know now and how I'm connecting them to the people that I knew before. And it's ironic because this reflection is it's sort of a rebuke, it's sort of to myself, it's sort of a like spank, I don't know what else to, it's like I'm correcting myself because I see where I'm off. And it has to do with comparing people who I know now to people that I knew before. And usually when that happens, it's because it's like oh, you're thinking that I'm this person when I'm not, and I'm so much better than that. In this case, it's not really that. It's I'm comparing you to someone who I really like, but you're not that person that I really like. You're you. So I shouldn't be doing that. That's sort of the thing. So it's a little ironic how this moment came, this moment of correction and self-reproach, if that makes sense. But yes, so I'm not really going to say exactly what I'm talking about here, but I will say that it was sort of just, I was convicted by it when my mom, we were praying, and she was praying for so long that I just couldn't help but start laughing. And she was just talking so much and I started laughing. So she now comes to where I am because I had to move away. I didn't want her to hear me laughing, even though she could hear me laughing. But she came over and she started saying, in Jesus' name. Well, no, laughing is the devil or whatever. I don't know what she was saying. Then she was saying that Precious, whatever you're doing with William. I'm taking that part out. I am not putting that part in the video. Oh, jeez. I was doing such a good job. I never said the name until that moment. Wow, so I'm gonna have to edit this. Anyways, I'm probably gonna just like bleep myself. I'll bleep myself, yeah. But yeah, so amicus. I'm probably gonna have to blur my whole face because I don't want y'all to read my lips either, just in case y'all are skilled like that. But yeah, like she was saying that this amicus talk, that it's that, and I need to stop focusing on that. And then she brought up something else. She said philosophy, and I immediately had a sense of what she was talking about, even though she didn't know what she was talking about at all. She didn't. And I was just like, at first I was laughing, but then I kind of let that sink in, and I was like, wow, she knows something that, well, she doesn't know, but she's being used to tell me something that I'm aware of, but I'm just trying to ignore it. But yeah, so that's what happened. That's what really started this whole diary entry. So once again, something I could not have caused. That's how serendipity works, my friend. Religion, my friend. That's Seinfeld again. You know, a lot of these reasons. So this is what I wrote. Let me see if I make sure I don't say a name. Okay, good. I know a lot of these reasons seem other focused, but that is because my thoughts and awareness of my thoughts holds the most burden, if anything bad was to happen, or if something bad was to come out of it, and it would be something very difficult to repair from the outside in. I think that's enough reasons. I need to sleep and catch up. Also, pardon the vagina talk. I saw it and I want to reflect on it slightly later. For now, it's a good time to put my pen down. Good night. Okay. So now it's March 24th. I'm writing at 9:30 p.m. But I'm starting my journal from talking about the from the morning time. So, I talked about how I Googled. Okay, so this must have been Friday's journal entry before, by the way. Me talking about amicus and philosophy, you know what I'm saying? So, that was a Friday journal entry. This now is Saturday's journal entry. And this is where I really feel like everything that has happened this week, everything that my mind has been through, was all to lead up to this conclusion. Even though obviously it's not just about that. Everything in itself is valuable, but it led to something much greater than just themselves. So, yeah, so, basically, this is gonna be the vlog now. This is me talking about my Saturday. I Googled, reminds me of my ex, even though I don't have an ex, I've never dated, but I felt like that's the only thing YouTube could really have a lot of results for, rather than me talking about a crush, you know. So I put reminds me of my ex, but then there was nothing really profitable from that search. So then I searched Socrates' personal life, and I watched one video, but it was I wanted to see about his wife and his family life, you know, but they didn't have anything on that. They were just talking about Socrates as a person. So then I moved on again, and decided to watch videos about, let me see. After that video, I decided to stop thinking about philosophy. Oh, I said to stop thinking about that stuff. And then in parentheses, I put romance and such. But the next thing I was curious about, for whatever reason, it came to me, which I think is because of the vagina monologues. Because one of the monologues is them saying that I hate tampons. which I totally agree with. She says how they're uncomfortable. And I thought about me as a girl and what I was also uncomfortable with, because when she was talking about that, I immediately thought about how much I hate bras because they're so uncomfortable. And so I looked up something that had to do with how to live without a bra and not worry about being sexualized or whatever. But when I went to a video about it, the first thing this girl opens with is that we live in a culture where our bodies are like a sex symbol, so it's understandable that you want to be braless and that you want to kind of hide it at the same time. But she also thinks that boobs are beautiful and stuff like that. Like, she's just being her opinion. She's giving her opinion, but she does state a matter of fact, which is that we live in a culture that sexualizes women. So yeah. So from there, after that, I was like, okay, I'm tired. You're back. Oh my goodness. And we're at 1 hour and 2 minutes now of me just talking. I don't want to help you up, Chantel, because I want to finish my video. Is there a bug? Is there a bug? Oh. See, I'm getting bitten. That's why it was a bad idea for me to have this. I'm not going to help you. If you get up, it's because you got up by yourself. I'm being selfish. Okay, now I can't be. Okay. Oh, she's gonna run now. So, oh, don't make this fall, don't make this fall. Chantal, can you stay on that side? Stay on that side, because when you're over here, it makes it jump and it's gonna fall.
I can like this.
Be on that side. No. Stay on this side, please. You can even jump, but just be on that side. So, what I journaled about was how after that, and then here I realized that, yeah, it might have been the vagina monologues that made me connect to thinking about the sexualization of women and so on. After that bra video, though, I went to watch, not to watch, but I was like, I'm tired of watching videos. Let me read my book, What is Ancient Philosophy? And this was the line that I think, not that I think, I know it did, because I wrote notes and I had that connection and I immediately wrote notes in that book. Which I have permission to, by the way. I just have to give him a new book. My professor who gave me that book. But this is it. The quote is, "We must not avoid constantly examining the way we live in order to see if it is always guided and inspired by this will to do good." Chantel, you see how this closed? That's why I didn't want you on, because I'm trying to finish this video. Okay, so it looks awkward. The video looks so awkward. But yeah, this is the quote. "We must not avoid constantly examining the way we live in order to see if it is always guided and inspired by this will to do good. What interests Socrates is not to define the theoretical and objective contents of morality, but to know if we really concretely want to do what we consider just and good." That was the quote. And to be honest, now I'm reading again. "And I'll be honest, the light bulb did not go off right away. It came after I just sat and entertained the idea of the moral code I live by, being the New Covenant, Christianity, why homosexuality is immoral, and also what would make it immoral even before the AIDS outbreak of the 80s, when it was accepted in the Greek society, you know? But then it clicked. And then I'm talking about personal experiences. I realized that all of what is sexually immoral, no matter when it emerged in history, is it makes something or someone sexualized when they ought not to be. So that's basically what sexual immorality is in my definition of it, due to the patterns that I've seen. C, this revelation probably wouldn't have come if it wasn't for an accumulation of all that I have said before. I should add New Girl. Yeah, New Girl too, because they'll talk about sex all the time. Because they talk about sex a lot and do it a lot, yeah. Another thing to mention was that this conclusion somewhat answers the reflection I turned into Mr. Gillespie, which he has not tried to answer. Going back to the implication of this fact, this is why we have moral laws. I said laws because it wasn't like laws of America, but like moral laws. They're immaterial. Anyways, this is why we have moral laws against them. If we didn't, and by moral laws against them, I mean Christian moral values, okay? If we didn't, then everything in my experience would have been okay. This is why sex is in the context of marriage, to not complicate our already complicated systems as human beings, and not to get married. And not to get marriage, one cannot overly sexualize their lover, even in engagement. This is the prime mover here, obviously. Later on, as soon as we got to downtown the event, I had another epiphany. I said, that's why Adam and Eve could be naked. They weren't wanting to have sex with each other every 2 seconds. Versus now, we have to cover ourselves. But obviously we wear clothes. My goal is to go to a nude beach now. Anyways, this epiphany also answers Zari's question about why there's a difference between porn and art. Like nude art, So that's that. I'm going to watch Arrested Development because I don't have enough time to make my p+logs. Anyways, I want to eat and relax my mind. Wow, the Christian life is truly the life of truth that I love to live. That's all good. That's all now. Good night. And then I said, P.S. I forgot to add that our craving for sex, which is what answers the question about moral salts, sugars, and oils, is because of our need to connect with people outside of ourselves so badly. And sex is your one-stop shop, convenience store for vulnerability and safety and everything in Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Without all the time and suffering it takes for at least one person. And that's when I kind of came up with the idea that a Maslow's convenience store where everything, like if someone's